Okay, folks, I'm going to call the meeting to order. As required under the Planning Act, a public meeting is being held prior to the committee making a decision on these applications. And first of all, I would advise that we live stream the meeting on our YouTube channel, and the recording is available after the meeting. Because meetings are accessible to the public in all of these ways, video or audio recording by members of the public is not permitted in council chambers. This is to ensure that all attendees and those who come to make a deputation feel at ease. And we thank you for your cooperation. All right. First of all, I will introduce members of the committee. I'm Mr. Robertson, and we've got Mr. Strangway. We've got Mr. Finn, Ms. Archer, Ms. Richardson, and Councillor Yeo on video. Welcome, Councillor Yeo. All right. Staff present, and I'll just go through the list. We've got the Director of Development Services, Ms. Berry. We've got the Acting Development Supervisor, Ms. Evans. Planner 2, Mr. Shahid. And we've got Mr. Okawet, Planner 2. We've got the Secretary-Treasurer, Mr. Lahaye. And Mr. McKinnon, the Supervisor of Plans, Review, and Inspections. And certainly last but not least is our recording secretary, Ms. Crockford. All right. Are there any comments or questions with respect to the printed agenda? All right, being none, can I get a motion? Ms. Archer, Mr. Strangway, any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, and because we've got Councillor Yeo on video, I'm going to be asking for a recorded vote. So, Councillor Yeo, we'll start with you.
In favor.
All right.
In favor.
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Ms. Richardson?
In favor.
Mr. Strangway? In favor. And I'm in favor. All right. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest today? All right, being none. The minutes of the previous meeting. Before I ask for a motion, are there any comments or questions with respect to the previous meeting minutes? Being none, can I get a motion to put those on the floor? Mr. Finn, do I have a seconder? Mr. Strangway, any further comments or questions? Being none. All right, we'll start with Mr. Finn.
In favor.
Mr. Strangway.
In favor.
Ms. Richardson.
In favor.
Councillor Yeo.
In favor.
All right, Ms. Archer.
In favor.
And I'm in favor. All right. So moving right along, I have a preamble here before we get started with the meeting. The committee will hear comments, gather information, and may ask questions to clarify statements made. The committee may ask and answer questions or redirect questions to the appropriate person. Please note that any information or comments given to the committee during this meeting, those are considered evidence. We will first hear from staff, then the applicant or his or her agent. We will then hear from any person in support of or from those who have questions, concerns, or are opposed to the application. Finally, the applicant or his or her agent will have an opportunity to respond to any of the statements made to the committee. And if you wish to speak, and I'll first, if you're online, and apparently we do have folks online, please, when you come on, state your name for us. I'll ask for that anyway, but we ask that you give us your name and then you can proceed with your presentation. And for those that are here, if you wish to speak to the application, raise your hand. I will ask you to come forward to the podium. There's a button there. You'll see a red light come on in that microphone, and then I'll ask you for your name and let you proceed. We do afford you up to 10 minutes for a presentation. No one's ever taken that long, and they haven't. Usually they're very short. But if you find that you can't possibly get all of that information in within the 10 minutes, then I'll ask the committee if they will afford you a couple of more minutes. But I don't think that's ever happened, but we do provide you with that latitude if you so desire. So, having said all that, we will now move to File number, I'm going to go on for a bit here. File number D20-2025-032. File number D03-2025-017. And file number D03-2025-018. And this is 56 Riverview Road, former town of Lindsay. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this item is in regards to a proposed severance that requires a minor variance at the property addressed as 56 Riverview Road in former town of Lindsay. The property is located at the northeast intersection of Riverview Road and St. James Street and currently contains a single detached dwelling. The proposed consent seeks to create 2 new residential building lots and to retain a lot containing the existing dwelling. The proposed severed lots each have 13.4 meters of frontage onto Riverview Road, whereas the zoning bylaw requires 15 meters for the zoning in which the property is situated in. As a result, the deficient lot frontages are being addressed through the minor variance. So the proposed lot shapes align with the surrounding lot fabric, being rectangular in shape. Most lots in the area are uniform with 15 meters of frontage. However, frontages much less are not uncommon even when looking within 100 meters of the subject property. Within the immediate context, there are lots that have frontage as low as 12.2 meters. Additionally, in urban contexts, residential lot frontages are typically more narrow as lots are connected to municipal servicing, and usually yard space is more focused in the front and rear. And this is evident as the official plan sets out a density target, which the proposed consent helps meet through gentle intensification. So the proposed severed lot, although deficient in frontage, provides an adequate building envelope to accommodate yard requirements, daylighting triangle, lot coverage, and minimum gross floor area requirements. And the proposed retained lot is also compliant with all zone provisions. No comments of concern were received from any of our agencies, and no public comments were received either. All in all, staff acknowledges the proposed consents represent good planning and that the minor variance meets all 4 tests of a minor variance. Staff recommends approval of the applications. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions of the planner? Ms. Archer?
Through you, please, to the planner. Could you tell me the proposed use of these properties? Are they going to be single-family residentials?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, they're going to be single-family residential lots.
Could you please explain, I don't understand obviously what a unit is. If we're going from 4.5 to 13.6, it seems like there's 9 units. Could you explain that, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, you mean on the report, the density that I spoke in the official plan test? Yeah, sure, let me go over that. Yeah, so through you, Mr. Chair, so how we calculate density is we look at the size of the lot, and right now there's 1 dwelling on that lot, which is at a current size. So once the size is split up, and now within that same square of land, there's potential being a house on each one. So the density is increased as a result. So the Lindsay secondary plan and the official plan has a higher density for this area than what currently exists at 4.5. So through the severance, once there's 3 lots, the density increases to 13.6 units per net hectare on average. Does that
This is less than a hectare, so that's why it sounds like a bigger number.
does that make sense?
No. It just, we're only getting 2 extra units. See, I obviously don't know what a unit is, because 2 extra houses, how can we go up 6 units?
Through the chair, I'll take this one. So the way the official plan phrases it is that density is calculated per hectare. So this property is smaller than a hectare. So if you expanded that out to be a full hectare in size, the density is the average number of dwelling units, whether that's single detached like this, or if there was a semi-detached, that would account for 2 units within that hectare. And then the density is calculated as like a ratio. So because this is smaller than a hectare, the number of units per net hectare is larger than what we have here. But it's because of the impact that these have compared to the lot size, if that makes sense.
Mr. Strangway, I think you saw your hand.
Yeah, just a very simple question. I see on the plan there, requested site triangle, and I understand obviously at a corner you need to, be able to see oncoming traffic and so on. What are the implications when you put something like that on it? Is that for the homeowner, or just what does that mean when that's requested?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So yeah, that was something our development engineering division had requested. The implication of that is included in the conditions for the provisional consent. So the owner or their applicant would have to convey that portion of land, so 5 meters by 5 meters, to the city.
Okay, thanks.
Anything further from committee? Ms. Archer, go ahead.
This is just another probably silly question, but I see the description is north of Kent and east of St. David, but the plan looks like it's north of Riverview and east of St. James. Is there any concern with that description?
I think we're going to be a very tough crew today.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Where does it say that exactly? I just want to make sure I'm looking at this right.
The legal description on page 2, it says north of Kent and east of St. David, but on the sketch, rather, it says it's Riverview and St. James. So we're just checking to make sure you've got the right description.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think the legal description is just generally making a locational reference that this property is north of Kent Street. It's not making it's just a legal description, whereas it's just giving essentially a locational reference because the property in the broader context is north of Kent Street.
Just a reminder, there are no silly questions, only the bad ones that aren't asked. Okay. Anything further from committee? All right. Is the applicant here online? Does the applicant? Yes, come ahead, please. If you can find that button there. Oh, excellent. First time around. Very good.
Through you,
And your name?
Through you, Mr. Chair, Vanessa Archer from TD Consulting on behalf of the owners. Thank you for the report there. Also, thank you for the little math lesson to both the planners and the explanation. I'm here if you have any questions, but I feel like it was pretty well presented there. We've agreed to the triangle. We were originally thinking it was going to be larger, so we're happy that it's smaller, that we have to convey a smaller triangle, but here if there's any additional questions.
Let's find out. Are there any questions of the applicant? Looks like it's your easy day. All right. All right. Is there anyone here online that wishes to speak in support of this application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Being none, committee, where are we? I've got 2 there. Ms. Richardson, you're moving it? And seconded by Mr. Strangway.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Mr. Chair. Sorry.
I didn't see you go.
No worries, no worries. I just wanted to make a quick adjustment to the conditions because there's more than one severance being done. So we want to add a condition that ties both of the consents together. So essentially the condition will read that the 2 consents will be contingent on one another, so they would both be processed concurrently. So that would be an additional condition that I would add. So that would be there would be 12 total conditions to the consent. So it's on the Appendix F of the report.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Committee clear? Yeah. All right. Very good. All right. Are there any, I've got a mover and a seconder, so are there any further comments or questions with respect to the amended motion? Being none, let's start with Ms. Richardson.
In favor?
Mr. Strangway?
In favor?
Councillor Yeo? In favor. Ms. Archer?
In favor?
Mr. Finn?
In favor?
And I'm in favor. Your application is approved. All right. Moving right along then. We're now dealing with file number D20-2025-023, and this is 237 Snug Harbor Road, Geographic Township of Finland. Mr. Shahid, you're on again. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
What the heck is that? Yeah, go ahead.
So the subject property is situated on the shoreline of Sturgeon Lake with access from Snug Harbor Road, with the surrounding area being primarily residential. The property currently contains a 2-story dwelling, a 1-story dwelling, a boathouse, and 2 sheds. The property seeks to facilitate the construction of a detached garage with a 2nd-story additional residential unit, which I will be referring to as a garage ARU. Also, a recently constructed shed is also being recognized. The existing 1-story cottage is being demolished, and the existing boathouse is being replaced by an upland boathouse. Relief is requested from the location of accessory structures, the accessory structure lot coverage, the number of accessory structures, the minimum lot area for ARU eligibility on private servicing, and the front yard setback. So with regards to the location of the shed, its current location as shown on the slide is in the southeast corner of the property, which is buffered from the public view or road by a dense hedge. Its footprint is minimal, and it's common for waterfront properties to place these accessory structures in their front yards for ease of access and to avoid being within the water setback. Looking at the proposed garage ARU, this structure is permitted to be in the front yard but requires relief from its front yard setback. The 0.5 meter deficiency is required in order to maintain a safekeeping distance from the septic while ensuring the septic is located a distance from the water. I should also note that the total number of structures on the lot is not increasing. As I mentioned previously, there are some structures being removed as well. After the writing of the report, the supervisor Part 8 sewage systems requested that a condition be added, which has been added on the revised conditions provided to committee. And the Development Engineering Division stated that they have no concerns. We also received comments from the owners of 241 Snug Harbor Road in objection to the application. All in all, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
If I missed this, I apologize, but did you discuss the situation with the complainants?
To you, Mr. Chair, the letter that was provided from the neighbors did not provide reasoning. They just stated their objection, but I believe they are here today, so they may speak to it.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the planner? Mr. Finn, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair. The existing dwelling is to be demolished. Is there any reason why the ARU/garage could not be located in that area so that it would be in the side yard?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe that was to do with the septic, but I'll let the applicant respond to that.
Yep.
Anything further from committee? All right, being none. The applicant here. Oh, yep. Yep. For the record, if you'd state your name again, please.
Absolutely. Through you, Mr. Chair, Vanessa Archer from TD Consulting. To answer the question there regarding the location, the ARU garage is being proposed a little ahead of where that existing dwelling is. The reasoning is because of the septic that needs to fit. There's a bit of history on this property, and if we want to back up, I can explain a little more. But they have now removed demolished the existing boathouse. They're in the works of replacing that through permits with KRCA, building permit, and all the appropriate agencies there, TSW. They're redoing the shoreline to extend along. The property was merged on title, so those were 2 different properties, 2 different titles. The owner owns both of them, has merged them on title. Hence, we are removing the existing small cottage there, replacing it with an ARU above the garage so that her son can live there. So the existing larger house on the right-hand side, 237, is currently on a holding tank. We are working with the septic department, and I understand that they have added the condition of making sure that the septic can handle both the existing dwelling and the proposed ARU. So we do have that shown on the site plan, but we are working with them to confirm and make sure all of those things before permits are achieved, obviously, after this meeting. But we are trying to work to replace from a holding tank to to a conventional system or a tertiary system, whichever way we have to go in order to hold everything for that property. That is a positive because we don't like holding tanks so much anymore. So we're trying to correct all of the errors or things that are created with the merging of the title there. So the item with the shed right now, it is set at 1.2 meters setback. That is something that we're requesting in here as well. I just wanted to note as well with the accessory structures, if we did not merge those two properties, we would not be over our accessory structure limit. You're allowed to have 3. We're asking for the 4th only because we're removing the dwelling, which is considered a dwelling today, but will be an ARU considered an accessory structure for that 4th structure. The shed, as I said, it was done without a permit, but the size of it did not need a permit. The owners were abiding by the setbacks for the 1.2 meters. They just did not understand that there was a larger front yard setback. So again, we're wanting to correct that issue through this minor variance. It is nicely hidden behind that hedge, as was mentioned earlier by the planner. So having it in the front yard is not necessarily ideal, but we also can't put it in the water yard. There's not a lot of property space for it to go in the side yard on this property. So if there's any additional questions, I am here.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Finn, did you have a follow-up?
Yes, thank you.
You did or you didn't?
Yes, that answered my question. Thank you.
Are there any further comments or questions with respect to the deputation? All right, being none, thank you very much for that. All right. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here or online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition? Yes, please. One of you or both of you wish to come forward? And state.
Good afternoon. My name is Debbie Shumalak, and my husband and myself are owners of 241 Snug Harbor Road. We're going to inform you of something that nobody has mentioned to this point. This was made clear to the planning department. We not only own 241, we own a right-of-way that passes across several properties. And we're not the proud owners, we are the reluctant owners. This is something that's very unusual. Usually the township owns the right-of-ways. For some reason, 5 days before we closed our property, we were informed that now we own this right-of-way. We did have consultation with the planning department briefly years ago when we purchased a property. And we said, can we turn these right-of-ways over to the property owners? Now, there is a situation where to the north of us, this right-of-way still works as a right-of-way. They need ingress and egress. To the south of us, it's redundant. All of these properties have their own driveways. They don't have a slope that would deter them from putting in a driveway. For us to release it, there is a mountain of paperwork and application fees and survey fees that would have to be done. Now, that's really not helpful in getting rid of this right away. Originally, it was a cow path from the farm at 240 Snug Harbor. And then they started building little cottages, and they created this road that would service the cottages. And I think it connected up to Pasture Road. I don't think it connected up to 36 at that point. So it was in use. And then when Snug Harbor Road was built, it was just kind of neglected. But all of the property owners are in compliance with the right-of-way. They set back their fences, they set back their structures, they don't build on that area except for 237. They've built a recent existing shed, which is very pretty. Yes, there is shielding from it, but they're within a very short distance. They're not complying with the setback off the right-of-way. Now, we had offered to them, we said, you know, if you want to release this as a right-of-way, and we've been, I believe Danielle Smith has advised us that there is a way, but it's a very long process, and it would require, you know, again, numerous surveys and application fees, and I think they just kind of thought, let's just get this in there. It was a shed that was put up without a building permit because it didn't need one. It was within 160 square feet. So, you know, what we're objecting to is, yes, the setback. Now, the reason we're objecting to it is for both. I don't care if the shed is in the front lot, but it has to be set back. I don't care if the accessory apartment is wherever it's located, it has to be set back, because they set a dangerous precedent for all of these property owners to just deny, neglect, and abuse the setback bylaw. We've had people, as 237 did, they built on without complying. Their neighbors that you can see there, and you can actually see in that nice picture there, their construction junk is sitting right on the right-of-way. The neighbors, it was grandfathered in. We've gone back 3 owners, and nobody knows who built it, but there is a shed on the property right next to them. Everybody else has been complying, but it seems that this property and the one next to them have not. Now, the one next to them, they were used as the reason for them to build their shed. They said, well, they could do it. We can do it, right? We said, well, we don't know who did it, and we're not going to go back, and it's been grandfathered in, and okay. And realizing that this right-of-way is not functional, you know, we've just ignored it. And the people who lived there we liked, and we didn't want to upset them. And we do like these people too, but I just think that they have been kind of very free with where they put things. They put a Generac generator right on the property line between them and the neighbors right beside them, and it's on the right-of-way as well. Like, they just kind of, they just basically asked for forgiveness and not permission. But now they're asking for permission, and it just really, you know, we've had so many of these people, the neighbors on the right-of-way, come to us and say, well, I want to put up stones to block, and this is on the functioning right-of-way. We want to put up stones so they don't come up and down our driveway. You can't do that. We're policing this right-of-way. We don't want to. We don't even want the obligation of the right-of-way, but somebody has to. And if they get this variance, it's just going to open the door to more and more building and problems. You know, my insurance agent says we don't have a liability. Our lawyer was uncertain when we purchased the property. I worry that people build on the right-of-way, that they use the right-of-way for purposes other than ingress and egress. And that's what this old grandfathered right-of-way that who knows how long it dated back to. We had one of the lawyers in town, and he wrote up a description for all of the property owners to understand what the right-of-way was and what you're not to build on it. You're not to use it you can't store your boats on it. You can't put your rock gardens on it. You have to comply. Now, if the city wants to take over the right-of-way outside of my pocket that I don't have to pay, you know, I just was quoted by a lawyer that the legal fees on one parcel would be $4,500. That's just the legal fees. And then there's the city application fees, and there's the surveying fees. This thing is just a white elephant to us. We would love to get rid of it. And if town planning department has a way that we can, you know, get this going, and release all these landowners from having the right of way. It's a nuisance. It fronts all of their properties. It's 13 feet of nonsense is what it is. But until this is dealt with, I don't think that they should get that variance because it's setting a dangerous
I'm going to ask you
precedent.
to sum up, if you would, then,
Sure.
please.
And that's it. That's easy. But that is our dilemma. It's our dilemma and it's our problem. And it does set a precedence that would open the floodgates to this. Lots of property owners have asked, can we do this? Can we do that? Well, you can't, because we don't have the right to give you that permission. It's just a right of way. We own it, but we don't set the rules. And so if the town wants to change the designation to it, if they want to assume the right of way, that's another thing. That's another story. But as it stands today, we have to and we did inform the planning department of this in our letters when we said we were going to object. So it was never mentioned in any of this, and if we hadn't showed up today, this would have just,
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Please don't, excuse me, please don't
you
sit
have
down. There may be
questions?
questions of you. Before I go to the committee, I'm going to go back to the planner. Do you have any comments with respect to the comments that have been made by the deputy?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for voicing your concerns and bringing your comments here. I do want to clarify that none of the structures are on the right-of-way, but other than that, I'll let the applicant respond to the property owner's comments.
Are there any questions? Yes, Mr. Finn?
Just one question to the planner. I'm looking at Appendix C, and at the bottom right-hand corner, there's a reference to lands owned by others. Owner of 237 Snug Harbor is in the process of purchasing. Is that the right of way?
that's not correct.
I'll ask you to speak, ma'am, please. All right, Mr. Shahid?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, that is the right-of-way that is owned by the owner speaking at this time. The owners of 237 Snug Harbor, they do have legal access over this right-of-way through an easement.
Mr. Finn, follow?
Then follow up with the lady, you say that's not correct?
Well, I say it's not correct, that they're not in the process of purchasing it.
Anything further, Mr. Finn?
Nope, thank you.
Anything further from committee? Ms. Richardson? To the planner or to the deputy?
To the deputant. So through you, so your concern is that they are not meeting the setback requirements then?
Yes, that's correct.
And so follow up to the planner then. So what is a setback requirement from the right-of-way to where this would be constructed?
Mr. Shahid?
Through you, Mr. Chair, so the required setback from the front lot line is 7.5 meters.
A follow-up, Ms. Richardson?
And what is their proposal again?
Their proposal from the shed is 1.2 meters, and their proposal for the proposed ARU garage is 7 meters. The shed is existing at 1.2 meters from the front yard, from the front lot line.
Anything further from the committee? All right. Thank you. We appreciate you taking the time. Now, would the applicant like to respond to any of the comments made?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So as mentioned, we are seeking relief to correct the issue of the existing shed that is there. That's at 1.2 meters right now. As previously mentioned, the owners thought they were meeting the correct setbacks, but that is the side yard and rear yard setback at 1.2. So we are seeking to capture that and correct the fact that they are existingly deficient on that. I will note there are a number of garages, not speaking about a right-of-way on this road, but on Snug Harbor alone, there are a lot of garages that are constructed currently closer to the road than are permitted by the bylaw. However, in speaking specifically to this application, each minor variance is handled on its own merits, as we all kind of understand that from the planning side of that. So there is no real precedent set if something is passed on this. The setback, as noted there, is we're seeking relief for 7 meters for the proposed ARU garage, 0.5 deficient. However, when you look at that site plan, if you can see the tiny little number right below the ARU garage, there's an 11 there. It's actually 11 meters to the outside of that right-of-way, 7 meters to the right-of-way, but 17 meters to the edge of the road. And that is based off of survey there. It shows the asphalt edge of road at 17 meters. So we are, although asking for a 0.5 meter deficiency, we're actually well over the frontage if that right-of-way was not there. There's an unfortunate situation with that right-of-way, and the owners have been speaking with the owners of 241 to discuss the options of, so they are in the process of trying to purchase that right-of-way. However, I understand that there's been some back and forth between the two owners, and we won't get into that because that's a discussion for outside of this meeting. But if they were to own the right-of-way, they would be meeting all of the setbacks on the property except for the shed, again. But without getting into further details about that, they have been in discussions about the right-of-way. However, the costs of who is going to take care of that has been a discussion point that they have not agreed on. So if you have any further questions.
Mr. Strangway, go ahead.
Great, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. 2 questions. As Mr. Finn pointed out, it's indicated in the bottom right-hand corner that there's a process underway to purchase their section of the right-of-way. Can you clarify that for us, please?
So as I just noted there, the owners are kind of in a back and forth on that point of who's going to pay for that purchase. As the owners of 241 have alluded to, there's a lot of costs that are associated with that. Right now, it is illegal right-of-way access to the property. Nothing is constructed on that right-of-way, so we're asking for the relief of 0.5 to it, but they're just not agreeing on who's going to pay for the legal costs of purchasing the right-of-way from them.
And my other question was, has there been any discussion with the owners? I know this is a very small shed, of moving the shed?
If that is a sticking point on this application and we don't want to approve the 1.2 for the shed, the owners are willing to remove the shed if need be. There is a shed that's to the right of the dwelling that's between the 2 property lines. It is not included on this minor variance because in the report from the planner there, it does note that it is pre-zoning bylaw. So that one is kind of, I don't like the term grandfathered in, but we'll say that for ease of explaining. They are planning to possibly re-side that just to make it look a little prettier, because when you see pictures of it, it's pretty old and pretty dated. They're not going to change it all, but if they need to remove the shed in the front yard or relocate it, I'm not sure that there's a lot of area they can relocate it to, but they are willing to remove that if that's the only sticking point.
I guess I'm opposed to, asking people to remove things. I just wondered about a move of the shed. These small sheds, I believe, can be moved with not too much difficulty.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the issue is there's not a lot of property to put it in the correct side yard or correct front yard. If you want to put it at the 7.5 meters, you're almost on their front walkway and porch.
Yeah,
but
okay, thank you very much.
Anything further from committee? Ms. Archer.
Through you, please, to the applicant. Did I understand you to say there's another shed that's even closer than the one we're discussing?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the other shed is shown on there. It's kind of hard to see right beside the word recently constructed shed at the top corner.
We do. All right.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Catherine. So there is a shed there. It's actually deficient to the side yard, not the front yard per se. I think it is actually deficient somewhat on the front yard as well, but again, because it was predated to the zoning bylaw, it kind of just is captured.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Very much appreciated. All right. right-of-ways and private roads.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Anyway, are there any further questions of the, did you used to speak, Director? Yes, go ahead, please.
I do. Thank you for the opportunity. Perhaps in an effort to guide the committee with respect to the minor variance application and the relief that's being sought from the front lot line, I would like to sort of distinguish the matter with the easement as really being separate and distinct to the application for variance. So that said, and because the neighbors and the owners of the easement have taken the time to participate, and it does sound like have had some interactions with the planning staff in times past, we'd like to invite them to continue the conversation with our team. We do think there are some options to resolution. I did definitely get the sense that they are interested in perhaps disposing or releasing the easement if it is mutually beneficial to both them and any other adjacent property owner. I think I heard that 13 thereabouts additional, or perhaps 12 in addition to the owners of the easement, also have the right of access over top, or to trespass, to use the easement to access their properties. So we agree and understand that the legal fees, the severance fees, to apply through the city to get permission to, let's say, redraw the easement or to sell portions of the land to the adjacent property owners, the survey costs involved with redrawing the boundaries of the easement. These are all things that can be done, and perhaps in an offer of sort of facilitating that conversation, if all the individual property owners were informed and sort of invited to a conversation, we could sort of move or help you move the needle on that one. That would maybe go a little further than what's been done to date. So that offer is there, using the arena of this Committee of Adjustment meeting to just put that out there on the table for the neighbors and owners of the easement. For the purposes of the committee, though, I would encourage you to just focus on the setback relief that's being sought.
Thank you for that. Any further questions of the applicant? Being none, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time. All right. Is there anyone here or online wishing to speak in further objection to this application? Further objection to the application? All right. Committee, where are we? Mr. Finn?
I move as recommended by staff.
Do I have a seconder? Ms. Archer? Are there any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, I'll keep a closer watch, Councillor. I saw your hand there right at the last minute, so you're kind of up in the air from me, so I'll do my best. All right. No further comments or questions on the motion. Mr. Finn?
In favor?
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Councillor Yeo? In favor. Ms. Richardson?
In favor?
Mr. Steinway?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The motion carries. The application is approved. I would appreciate it to everyone, after listening to the director there, good advice if they'd follow that. Thank you very much. All right, we're now dealing with file number D20-2025-024, and this is 36 Maple Avenue, Geographic Township of Bexley. Ms. Evans, go ahead.
Thank you. The property is designated waterfront under the City of Kawartha Lake's official plan and is zoned rural residential type 3, exception 1 under the Township of Bexley zoning bylaw 93-09. The property is located on the southwestern shore of Balsam Lake and contains a single detached dwelling constructed in 1949, a gazebo, and a shed. The proposal is to construct a detached garage, and relief is needed from section 3.1.3.2 of the zoning bylaw, which permits a maximum height for accessory structures of 5 meters. The proposed height is 6.5 meters. And these elevations here show what the proposed garage is to look like, and it will provide vehicle parking as well as storage space. And the purpose of increasing the height of the garage is to allow for additional headspace on that second story, which is to be used purely for storage purposes. These photos show the proposed location of the garage, which is located at the center of the property. It's approximately 29.1 meters from the front lot line and 21.8 meters and 12.1 meters from the interior lot line. So it's a ways away from all property boundaries here. And as you can see, the property is heavily vegetated. So whether you're viewing the property from the road or from neighboring residential properties, the view of the garage would be minimal. So it's not anticipated that there would be massing issues or land use conflicts. No comments of concern were raised by any of the circulated agencies, and no comments were received from members of the public. Based on the contents of the report, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified within the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Questions of the planner? Being none. Is the applicant here? I see. All right. And your name, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, my name is Bobby Leppington of 379 Regent Street, Aurelia, Ontario, of Design by Bobby. And I'm here to represent the owners today in this application. I do have a small 3-minute presentation, if you would allow me to share.
All right. We welcome you from Aurelia, and go ahead.
Thank you. I believe Ms. Evans is going to start the presentation.
Through the chair, the slides are up now. This is Bobby's presentation now.
Excellent. Okay, so as you can see in the site plan, the yellow box is the detached garage. We do have a foundation permit and have that foundation installed and winter protected. And we're far back from all of the lot lines. Next slide, please. You can see from the front elevation that we do meet the intent of the bylaw. And the front elevation in this case is the lakeside elevation to meet the intent of the height bylaw. Next slide, please. And it's the side and rear that we've changed the angle of the roof, putting us over height and requesting that bylaw. And as you can tell from the 1949 cottage, very long and narrow and not a lot of storage. This is a well-used family cottage and there's just not enough room for stuff. So we need that additional storage space up top. Next slide, please. Again, just reiterating what the planner identified, well-treed, minimal impact on the visual from both the lake and the roadside as well as either neighbor. Next slide, please. We feel we meet the 4 tests of a minor variance. And next slide, please. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much for that. Are there any questions of the applicant? Looks like you did very well with your presentation. No questions.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application, opposition to the application? Being none, committee, where are we? Mr. Strangway?
As recommended by staff.
All right. Did I see a hand there, Councillor Yeo? All right, seconded by Councillor Yeo. All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right, being none, I will start with Mr. Strangway. Go ahead.
In favor.
Councillor Yeo, in favor or opposed?
In favor?
Thank you. Ms. Richardson?
In favor.
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Mr. Finn?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The motion is approved. Your application is approved.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time. All right, moving right along. We're now dealing with file number D20-2025-025, and this is 1394 Pigeon Lake Road, Geographic Township of Emily. And again, Ms. Evans, go ahead.
The subject property is designated rural and environmental protection under the City of Kawartha Lake's official plan. The environmental protection designation appears to follow a watercourse that cuts through the middle of the property. So all buildings and structures are wholly within the rural designation. We're not in the environmental protection designation here. And the property is zoned agricultural under the Township of Emily zoning bylaw 1996-30. The subject property is located at the southeast corner of the intersection of Pigeon Lake Road and Centerline Road. It currently contains a single detached dwelling constructed in 1984, 2 sheds, a truck trailer, a pool, and a surrounding pool deck, and then several buildings associated with the kennel business that operates on the property. The purpose of the application is to recognize several residential accessory structures for the purpose of obtaining building permits, that being the 2 sheds, the truck trailer, the pool, and the pool deck. Relief is needed from section 3.1.2.1, which permits accessory structures in the interior side or rear yard, and as per the sketch, shed 1, shed 2, the truck trailer, the pool, and the deck are located in the front yard. Section 3.1.2.2 provides that the front yard setback for an accessory structure is the front yard setback required under the applicable zone, being the agricultural zone in this case. So as per section 7.2.1.3a, the minimum front yard setback in the A1 zone is 30 meters. The existing setbacks are 7.9 meters for shed 1, 7.4 meters for shed 2, 6.8 meters for the truck trailer, 10.9 meters for the pool, and 9.4 meters for the pool deck. These structures are accessory to the residential use on the property and are used for storage by the property owners, and then the pool provides opportunity for outdoor recreation. This area contains a mixture of properties that are used for only residential purposes, and then also some that are used for residential and agricultural purposes. So residential accessory structures exist in this area and are not out of character with surrounding land uses. And just as a note, when this application was circulated to the public, it was also identified that relief was needed for maximum lot coverage for accessory structures. But after receiving some additional clarification about the size of the pool, it was determined that relief from that provision is not required because that provision specifically excludes outdoor swimming pools from the calculation of accessory structure lot coverage. The air photo here shows the existing dwelling just with the gray roof kind of at the northern portion of this photo, and then the subject residential accessory structures are located to the northeast of that dwelling. The area to the south of the dwelling contains outdoor space, parking areas, and buildings that are all associated with the commercial kennel operation. The buildings that are subject to or the subject of this minor variance are accessory to the residential use, being the dwelling. So they're logically located in close proximity to the dwelling. Additionally, their location provides some separation between the home and the commercial kennel. So the property owners can store their personal items in a secure location away from the portion of their property that is publicly accessible. Additionally, the pool and the pool deck are located where there is a bit of privacy. So when they're using the pool, they're not directly adjacent to the parking area that's being used by the public. Also important just from a safety perspective to have the pool in closer proximity to the house for visibility. The property is 39 hectares in size and ample amenity space is maintained. The photo on the top of the slide was taken from within the property, and the photo on the bottom was taken as viewed from the road with the accessory structures labeled. There is some vegetation along the front lot line, which provides a visual buffer, making the structures minimally visible from the road. There's also an approximately 10-meter wide shoulder along the traveled portion of the road, which provides an additional physical buffer. So there's no impacts to sightlines or the flow of traffic. And these accessory structures don't change the overall rural residential character of the property, and they don't conflict with surrounding land uses. No comments of concern were raised by any of the circulated agencies, and no comments were received from members of the public. Based on the contents of the report, Staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application, subject to the conditions identified within the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, if you wish to come forward, Director, go ahead. Please do. On behalf of the committee, thank you very much for your assistance there and good advice. So, right. Are there questions of Mr. Strang?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a little clarification. I've never seen the term before, truck trailer. It's a new one for me. And it appears from the photograph that it's a trailer that has a garage door in it. Am I close? Am I right? Or just what exactly is a truck trailer?
Through the chair, exactly right. So it's the trailer that would be on the back of a transport truck that's been put on the property, and there's a garage door installed. So it's essentially like a shed or some type of garage, but in the way that it looks, shape-wise, it is what would be on a transport truck.
Further questions? Mr. Finn?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. This looks to be a very large piece of property. Is there any reason why these structures could not have been moved back to be in the side yard?
Through the chair, I think I did try and address some of those things with keeping them away from the commercial use for privacy and security, as well as keeping the pool in closer proximity to the house for visibility. But I do believe the applicant is online as well, so perhaps they have some extra details about why they constructed them in this location.
Thank you.
Anything further? Ms. Archer, go ahead.
Through you, please, is this just one of those ones, again, the owners are just going to have to pay the extra penalty for building permits?
Through the chair, I'll defer that question to the supervisor.
Through your chair, all fees will be according to our building bylaw. Yes, fees are tripled when a minor variance is involved. Yes.
Yeah. Just a process through the building permit process, is it not, with respect to that? Yeah. All right. Anything further of the planner? All right. I see a picture there. Are you the applicant, sir? Oh, we can't hear you. We still can't hear you.
Hear me now, sir.
Sir, could you repeat your name for us, please?
Yes. I'm Jacob Hone.
All right, go ahead.
On behalf of Glenn Wilcox.
Go ahead.
Representing the owner, Linda Watson. I'm available to answer to the best of my abilities any questions that the committee may have.
Are there any questions of the applicant? All right. Sorry, Mr. Finn?
Well, I don't know if you heard the question I asked the planner. Why could these structures not have been moved further back on the property? It's a large property. I know you have a commercial operation there, but it just seems to me that some of these structures are quite small and could be moved back.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I believe it was just due to proximity of the pool and the pool being close to the house. It just functioned well there. I don't totally know the whole history of why they placed it there. That's just what's been done.
Mr. Finn?
Thank you.
Anything further of the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? I'm advised none. Committee? Where are we, committee? Ms. Archer? All right. And did I see a hand there, Ms. Richardson, as a seconder?
I was actually going to ask another question.
Oh, then go ahead with that.
I was just going to inquire if these people had obtained a building permit in the first place, would they have been permitted to build all of this, the sheds, etc., in the location that they are?
The chair, not without a minor variance.
Not without the Anything further before I ask for a seconder? All right, Ms. Archer moved it. Do I have a seconder then? Mr. Strangway? All right, I've got a mover and a seconder. Are there any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right, being none. Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Mr. Strangway?
In favor.
Ms. Richardson?
In favor.
Councillor Yeo?
In favor?
Mr. Finn?
Opposed?
And I'm in favor. All right. The motion is passed. Your application has been approved, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you. Moving right along. We're now dealing with file number D20-2025-026, and this is 319 Snug Harbor Road, Geographic Township of Finland. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is situated on the shoreline of Sturgeon Lake with access from Snug Harbor Road within an established residential area. The property currently contains a one-story detached dwelling, a boathouse, and a carport. The proposal seeks to recognize the existing carport in the front yard. So the carport is used to provide a covered roof shelter for up to 2 vehicles. Along the many shoreline properties, front yard accessory structures, mainly in the form of sheds and garages, are quite common. The applicable zoning bylaw here does permit garages in the front yard on shoreline lots, but no carports, although their intended uses are very similar. On the property, the existing carport is located well set back from the road with all compliant yard setbacks. And as a result of being unenclosed, the visual impact can be considered much less than that of a detached garage. Overall, placing a carport in the front yard allows for access from the street on this waterfront lot, and the structure itself remains consistent with the streetscape of the shoreline lots along Snug Harbor. With respect to comments, no comments were received after the writing of the report. To conclude, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the planner? All right, being none. Is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application? Oh, all right, and your name again?
Vanessa Archer from TD Consulting on behalf of the owners. Thank you to the planner for his report there. As noted, a garage is permitted in the front yard. However, a carport is not included in that definition or anything in the bylaw. So we are here to seek the relief for the carport. We do meet the setbacks to the road. So it's just the fact that it's in the front yard and it's a carport, not a garage. If there's any questions, I am here.
Are there any questions of the applicant? Thank you. Oh, sorry. Councillor Yeo, I caught you. Go ahead. Question.
And I just got to ask the planner and the deputant, is a carport not a garage? And is like, how many other municipalities have you run into this? I'm confused because to me, I'm a builder. They're practically the same thing.
All right, let's go to the planner. Oh, sorry. Councillor, did you have more?
One's the applicant and the planner, yeah.
All right. Mr. Shahid?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the zoning bylaw defines a garage as an enclosed structure. So in this scenario, no, the carport would not be considered a garage. They are considered separate structures.
Councillor?
Is a carport defined?
The carport, no. The zoning bylaw does not define carport.
Okay, and then when it says it's an enclosed structure, does it say with walls and a roof? Or does it just say an enclosed structure?
The definition just says an enclosed structure.
Okay, so it's a little ambiguous. I don't know why it's here, and it's just I guess it's my personal opinion. An enclosed structure would be a roof, which would satisfy. I apologize. I'm going on a rant, but I think it's ridiculous. It's here, and that's just my opinion. So thank you. No question.
No, Now, to the deputy, do you wish to respond to any of the comments that were made?
I will just say that I see it as a technicality in the bylaw, and we're fine with having it before committee today for decision. I do appreciate his comments, but we're here and we're prepared to continue on with getting the variance for the carport.
Councillor Yeo, any follow-up on that?
Yeah, in our new rural zoning bylaw, has this been addressed as far as definitions?
Mr. Shahid?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I missed that question there.
In our new rural zoning bylaw, has this definition, what I would call an error of some sort, or has this been addressed in the rural zoning bylaw so this doesn't happen again?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, the rural zoning bylaw does include a carport in the definition of a garage.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. All right. Anything further from committee? Ms. Archer?
Another one through you, please, to Mr. McKinnon. Is this another one where we're going to get a whole bunch of more permit fees? Because it looks like there's 3 things that were built without permits.
Through your chair, yes, the building bylaw will apply to all these structures. If they were constructed without a building permit, then the building bylaw will apply, yes.
Now, I would again advise the committee that the enforcement issues are not part of our mandate, but yeah. Anything further from committee? All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application? In support of the application? Anyone here or online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none. Committee, where are we? Ms. Richards.
As recommended by staff.
Do I have a seconder? Mr. Finn. All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Ms. Richardson.
In favor?
Mr. Finn.
In favor?
Councillor Yeo.
In favor?
Mr. Strangway.
In favor.
Ms. Archer.
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The application is approved. All right, we're now dealing with file number D20-2025-027. And I believe there was an addendum with respect to a deferral issue. So, who we got here? Mr. Shahid, would you care to speak to the deferral issue?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So we'll be deferring this item 3.1.6 of the agenda. I provided committee members with a deferral memo for reference. The reason for the deferral is to allow the applicant to further work with the Kawartha Region Conservation Authority, working towards a proposal that is satisfactory to both them and the Conservation Authority. The applicants and property owners have already been notified of this, and we recommend that the application be deferred for a period of no more than 3 months to allow time for the applicants or owners to work with the KRCA staff to address the comments and concerns. So if a resolution is reached in less than 3 months, they would be coming to the earlier Committee of Adjustment hearing.
Questions of the planner? Mr. Strangway.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if this is in line or not. This certainly caught my attention. When it shows the yellow square in Appendix B, it shows it going way out into the lake. I just wondered if somebody could clarify that. I see there's something printed on Appendix C, but it's very small to read.
Mr. Shahid?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Because the application is being deferred, we can definitely take a look and answer this question when we bring the entire file forward, the next committee hearing, or whenever the application proceeds at a hearing.
All right.
Okay, that's fine.
The only reason I haven't asked for a motion is because if there's any questions with respect to the deferral, that's fine. But I think, yeah, I agree as far as all right. Anything from the committee with respect to the deferral proposal? All right. Being none. Is the applicant online or here? All right, nope. Very good. All right, committee, then that being the case, the only thing that's discussable with the deferral is when we bring it back, and I'm hearing that we should bring it back no later than the July 24th, 2025 meeting. Can I get a motion to that effect? Okay, Ms. Richardson, do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Yeo? All right, any further comments or questions with respect to the time frame? All right. Let's have a vote then. Who may move that? Okay, Ms. Richardson, go ahead.
In favor?
Councillor Yeo.
In favor?
Okay, Mr. Strangway.
In favor.
Ms. Archer.
In favor.
Mr. Finn.
In favor.
And I am in favor. The matter is deferred until no later than the July 24th meeting. Thank you. All right. Let me catch you up here. We're now dealing with file number D20-2025-028, and this is 20 River Drive, former village of Fenelon Falls. Ms. Evans.
Thank you. The property is designated residential with EIS floodplain hazard and Sturgeon Lake floodplain hazard under the Fenelon Falls secondary plan and is zoned Residential 1 or R1 zone under the Village of Fenelon Falls zoning bylaw 89-25. The subject property is within an established residential neighborhood located on a peninsula on the east side of the Fenelon River. It currently contains a single detached dwelling constructed in 1968, a detached garage, workshop, a woodshed, and a boathouse. The proposal is to construct an addition onto the existing garage workshop. As per the Fenelon Falls secondary plan, an environmental impact study or other appropriate study shall be required for development proposals on or abutting lands identified as environmental constraint area. And as per the official plan, the city, in consultation with partner agencies, shall identify the appropriate scope and study area for any required study. However, in this case, the garage is approximately 75 meters from the shoreline, and Kawartha Region Conservation Authority has confirmed that they have no concerns with the proposal, and as such, staff feel it is reasonable to not require a study for the proposed addition to the existing garage workshop. Relief is needed from the following provisions of the zoning bylaw, being section 4.3.3 CI, which requires a minimum front yard setback of 7.6 meters. The proposed setback to the addition is 6.1 meters. Section 4.3.3F requires a minimum setback from the street center line of 17.6 meters. The proposed setback is 16.1 meters. And section 5.1.4, which permits a maximum lot coverage for accessory structures of 5%. The proposed lot coverage is 8.7%. The addition is to be constructed onto the side of the existing garage workshop, as seen in these images, and will be used to store a single vehicle for security purposes, as well as to shelter it from the elements. The addition will allow the vehicle to be stored without taking away any space in the existing garage workshop, so that space can continue to be used as it has been by the owners. The purpose of the proposed addition being slightly closer to the front lot line than the rest of the garage is so a man door can be installed on the north side of the addition. So I'm just looking at this sketch here. They want to put a man door right here. So that's the reason that there's this bump out and it's not precisely in line with the rest of the garage, so they can have a door to go in here. This photo shows the existing setback between the garage workshop and the traveled portion of the road. The proposed addition will encroach minimally into the front yard beyond the existing garage. And the proposed setback will still allow for a vehicle to be parked in front of the garage, and a vehicle will be able to exit the garage and still have space to safely enter the traveled portion of the road. There's an approximately 8-meter wide shoulder that separates the traveled portion of the road from the property, providing an additional buffer. So the proposal is not anticipated to impact traffic flow, road maintenance, or sightlines. The photo on the top right here again just shows the existing garage workshop. And then the existing wood shed is just to the right of the garage, similar gray color, but it's just at the back here. That's the wood shed. And then the bottom photo is the boathouse. So the accessory structures are dispersed throughout the property and it doesn't appear overbuilt. Several properties in the area have multiple accessory structures, so it's not out of character with the built form in this area. After the writing of the report, comments were received from Kawartha Region Conservation Authority, providing that they have no concern, and no other comments of concern were raised by any of the circulated agencies. No comments received from members of the public. Based on the contents of the report, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified within the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions of the planner? Ms. Richardson.
Through you, why do we issue new building permits when they have outstanding building permits, which date back several years?
Through the chair, I'll defer that to the supervisor.
Through your chair, an outstanding building permit has no merit on an actual application for a new building permit.
All right. Anything further from committee? Yeah, things have changed. Keep in mind that it's not part of our mandate to pursue these things.
I know.
Did you have a question?
So my question is, does a person have infinity to close a building permit then?
Through your chair, we are actively working on closing old permit files at this time. In the past, permits were not exactly followed up on by the property owners consistently. So we still do have some open permit files from the past that we are actively trying to clean up. And these would be on our list. And as we process through this permit, we will be taking care of those outstanding building permits. So the idea for me to list those in my comments is just so that the property owner will be aware that we will be actively trying to close those permit files. I hope that makes sense.
I'll consider that just a general request for information. How's that? All right. Anything further of the planner? All right. Is the applicant here or online? Yes, sir. Do you wish to come forward?
Yes, I'd just like to thank the committee.
Your name, please.
Vaughn Spence. I'm the owner of the property.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
I just want to thank the committee for the opportunity, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
All right. Thank you for taking the time. Are there any questions of the applicant? Easy day, sir. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application? In support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Opposition to this application? Committee, where are we? Mr. Strangway?
As recommended by staff.
Do I have a seconder? Ms. Archer? Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, Mr. Strangway?
In favor.
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Councillor Yeo?
In favor?
Ms. Richardson?
In favor?
Mr. Finn?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The application is approved, sir. All right, we're now dealing with file number D20-2025-029. This is 195 Campbell Beach Road, Geographic Township of Carden. And again, I believe there was information with respect to a deferral. So, Ms. Evans, would you speak to it, please?
Yeah, thank you. So I did email out the deferral memo this morning, and it's also been printed and handed out at the meeting today. So again, pertaining to 195 Campbell Beach Road. So after the writing of the report, we did receive comments and concerns from Kawartha Region Conservation Authority that require further review and evaluation. So in order to give the property owners time to work with staff at KRCA, I'm recommending that the application be deferred no more than 3 months, returning at the latest to the July 24th Committee of Adjustment meeting. And if they come to a resolution sooner than that, we can bring them back to an earlier meeting.
All right, thank you for that. Are there any questions of the planner with respect to the deferral? All right, being none, can I get a motion to defer? And this will be to come back no later than the July 24th, 2025 meeting. Mr. Finn?
Deferral as recommended.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Do I have a seconder? Ms. Richardson. All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the time frame involved? All right. Mr. Finn?
In favor.
Ms. Richardson?
In favor?
Councilor Yeo?
In favor?
Mr. Strangway?
In favor?
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The deferral is approved. Thank you. All right, we're now dealing with, where are we here? File number D20-2025-030, and this is 73 Beaver Drive, Geographic Township of Somerville. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is situated on the shoreline of 4 Mile Lake at the end of Beaver Drive. According to the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, the area in which the property is located is predominantly seasonal residential, with the properties immediately to the south and west being vacant. The property currently contains a one-story dwelling, boathouse, shed, and detached garage. So the proposal seeks to facilitate the construction of a second detached garage, which is to be located in the southwestern corner of the property, behind a line of trees along the front and side lot lines. I did speak to the applicant and the supervisor of Part 8 sewage systems if there's potential on moving the proposed garage further from the front lot line and deeper into the property. However, complications arose from the minimum distancing from the Hydro 1 lines that are there, and also the septic field in the front yard as well. As a result, it was determined that the proposed garage location is appropriate given those other features on the lot. As the proposed development is to be located in a corner of the property that is buffered from the road, visual impact is limited as there is vegetation buffering the view of the garage. Proposed overall lot coverage and accessory structure lot coverage also remain compliant, and the proposed structure does not interrupt the use of access of the road. And as the subject property is the last property along Beaver Drive at the dead end, concern is minimized considering no other lots currently rely on the road for access beyond the point of the subject property. Comments were received after the writing of the report from the supervisor, Part 8 sewage systems, requesting a condition. To conclude, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the planner? Ms. Archer?
Just one question, please. This property is the last one on the road. I know it's a private road, but is there going to be, with this new building being proposed, is there going to be room for snow plows and things to get turned around and get back out?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the proposed garage doesn't interrupt the access of the road. It's further away from the front lot line. So, and it's a private road. It's not maintained by the city regardless. So the city wouldn't be going there for plowing anyways.
It's not the city, just anybody plowing. I just wanted to make sure that it's not going to be hindering getting turned around.
Through you, Mr. Chair. The garage is not located on the private road, so there shouldn't, I don't want to speak on the conditions of the road. Obviously, it's not assumed by the city. But if any vehicle traversing through Beaver Drive, it shouldn't be going onto the subject property, so the proposed garage shouldn't be an issue with access.
Mr. Finn, I saw your hand.
Yes. Just with regard to the number of accessory structures, do you have any information as to why 2 garages are necessary?
Through you, Mr. Chair. No, I'll let the applicant answer that question.
Thank you.
Anything further of the planner? All right, is the applicant here? Oh, becoming a really familiar face here. All right, for the record, your name again?
Through you, Mr. Chair, Vanessa Archer from TD Consulting. This will be the last one for today.
Thank you, go ahead.
So to answer the question about the accessory structures and the additional garage, they just want the additional garage for personal vehicles, you know, toys, snowmobiles, that kind of stuff. The existing garage that's there is not very large, and the little shed that's there also is not very large. I'm not even sure that we would need a building permit for the shed that's on there, but we would just want to capture the accessory structures because there is the 4th one if we put this up.
All right. Mr. Finn?
What's the existing garage being used for then?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's only the size for about 1 vehicle, so I think they just want the additional garage for additional vehicle parking out of the elements and such.
Thank you.
Further from committee? All right, thank you very much. Is there anyone here or online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here or online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none, committee. You'll notice there was an addition to the conditions, so that'll be as amended. Do I have a mover? Mr. Strangway?
As recommended by staff with the amendment.
All right. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Yeo. Further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right. Being none. Mr. Strangway?
Favor.
Councillor Yeo.
In favor?
Ms. Richardson?
In favor?
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Mr. Finn?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The application is approved. Looks like last, but certainly not least, we're dealing with file number D20-2025-031, and this is 379 Ballyduff Road, Geographic Township of Members. Ms. Evans, go ahead.
Thank you. The property is designated Natural Core Area under the City of Kawartha Lakes Oak Ridges Moraine Policy Area and is zoned Oak Ridges Moraine Core Area or ORMCA zone under the Oak Ridges Moraine Zoning Bylaw 2005-133. The property is located in an area that contains residential and agricultural uses, as well as large forested areas, and it currently contains a single detached dwelling constructed in 1988, a shed, a shipping container, and a detached storage structure located more towards the rear of the property. The proposal is to construct a detached garage, and relief is needed from Section 5.1B of the zoning bylaw, which permits an accessory structure in the side or rear yard. The proposed garage is to be located in the front yard and will provide enclosed vehicle parking as well as storage space. The intent of locating the garage in the proposed location is so it can be logically placed to best access the driveway, keeping it further away from the forested area on the property as well as for aesthetic purposes. The majority of properties in the immediate vicinity have detached accessory structures, so the proposed detached garage is in keeping with existing built form. The photo on the left shows the approximate proposed location for the garage, and the photo on the right shows the property as seen from the edge of the road. So the zoning bylaw permits accessory structures in the front yard where a property has a shore lot line, as well as in the rural residential type 1 zone, the Oak Ridges Moraine Settlement Area Zone, the Oak Ridges Moraine Linkage Area Zone, and the Oak Ridges Moraine Countryside Zone. So therefore, while a garage is not permitted in the front yard on this property because it is zoned Oak Ridges Moraine Core Area and it doesn't have the same permission as those other zones, The zoning bylaw does contemplate accessory structures in the front yard in zones with very similar permitted uses to this zone. There also appear to be other detached accessory structures in front yards of several properties in the area, so again, in keeping with existing built form. The dwelling is set back approximately 40 meters from the front lot line, and the garage is to be set back with its closest corner being 30 meters from the front line. So due to these setbacks, it's not anticipated that the garage being closer to the front lot line than the dwelling would be really perceptible when you are driving by the property. Additionally, the existing dwelling is 2 stories and the proposed garage is 1 story, ensuring the dwelling remains visually predominant. And the property is 15.4 hectares in size, so there is still ample amenity space in all yards here. No comments of concern were raised by any of the circulated agencies, and no comments were received from members of the public. So based on the contents of the report, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified within the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Questions of the planner? Mr. Strangway, go ahead.
Thank you. Through to Ms. Evans, just a quick question. When I look at the picture, I see the existing shipping container. It looks like it's beside the house, and yet when I look at the applicant's sketch, it shows a shipping container well behind the house. Is that the same shipping container, just moved, or?
Through the chair, that's correct. So in order to facilitate the garage being in this location, they're going to move that shed and blue shipping container as per the sketch.
Thank you very much.
Anything further from committee? All right, being none. Is the applicant here? Yes, sir, come forward. And if you press the button there and get a red light, good. Your name is?
My name is Mitch Morowitz, and I'm here on behalf of the property owner. I should
Go
say.
ahead, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate remarks from staff, and I don't have much further to add. Essentially, the site plan that you see before you here was put together by our designer, who, together with the addition to the house that we're also proposing, not subject to this application, we feel that this overall design will be aesthetically pleasing, and as noted in the report and by staff, it is set well back from the road, so I certainly don't anticipate any impact. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Are there any questions of the applicant? All right, we do appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Anyone online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none. Committee. Councillor Yeo?
As printed.
Do I have a seconder? Mr. Finn? Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none. Councillor Yeo?
In favor?
Mr. Finn?
In favor?
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Ms. Richardson?
In favor?
Mr. Strangway?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The application is approved. Okay, we're moving right along, no consents. Under other business, anything from the director or other staff members? Just a quiet day. All right. How about committee? Anything further from committee? All right. Being none, the next meeting will be held on Thursday, May 22nd at 1 p.m. in the council chambers. Motion to adjourn. Mr. Strangway, Ms. Richardson? All I'm going to ask for, are we all in favor? We are. All right. Now, I'd like to ask, because this